All right, folks, welcome back to our 9th annual Super Smash TV tournament here on GG Speedruns. This is the second of our doubleheader matches here. We've got Dildarr taking on Sigmafan here in game number 2, or match number 2 of tonight's proceedings. We take a look at the standings here. This is going to be, let's see here. So this is going to be the 10 seed Sigma taking on the 23 seed Dildarr. Whoever wins this match will be taking on the number 7 seed, our very own Mr. Dino. I'm LOZ Cards Fan 23. Aqua's here as my commentator partner. So very exciting match just got concluded here between Real Zero and Prince Leaf, ending up being a Prince Leaf victory, 3-1. You've got Sigmafan, who's been a long-time veteran. You've got Dildarr, who has made some strides, has made some improvements on his PB, currently sporting a 648, which he achieved about a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. So getting ready for the tournament then. 648. Nice.
Absolutely. Sigma, who had a very strong showing last year, she is currently on the leaderboard in 16th place with a 532, but that PB was set 3 years ago. So we'll see if this ends up being the tournament where she could crack the sub 530 barrier. Now, both of these runners recorded these runs previously, so there is no need for us to count down. As you can see, we're underway here in game number 1 between Dildarr and Sigmafan. So here we go.
See if either of them are trying the manip here. It doesn't look like it, so we won't be seeing any of that, I think.
No, I didn't expect either of these runners to be going after the manipulations. I know Sigmafan is not a runner who typically tries for that in her attempts, and I know Dildarr likewise hasn't done that either. So again, Sigma, with all the experience, she had a very deep run in last year's tournament, is going to have the whole shot here with a 42. Dildarr is going to be in there with a 46. 4.5 second lead for Sigma going into collect power-ups. So we'll see what our opening drop is for these runners. It's a foot for Sigma. She's going to go ahead and pick it up to increase her speed, maybe fish for a better drop, but ends up getting invulnerability. Dildarr takes the nuke. I think he's doing the same thing. He's looking for some better drops here himself. And right now, this is absolute garbage for both runners so far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, spread, and then I got a rocket for Dildarr. Not bad. That probably last him for the rest of the room, and then Dildarr gets his own orb, and Sigma with rockets.
Yeah, Vitamin R should help Sigma close out this room, and we'll keep the lead, but it's a 130 for Sigma versus a 133 for Dildarr. So he did gain about a second, maybe a second and a half in that room, thanks to getting both the orb and some rockets here. But he's got to be careful here in Eat My Shrapnel. He's letting that room getting out of control a little bit. We saw 4 shrapnels on the screen very momentarily, and we were seeing it again, so he's having some problems keeping this room under control. Meanwhile, Sigma just got a orb, so she should be okay and should still have the lead coming out of this room. In fact, probably will increase it a little bit, but she's having a little bit of problems herself, not getting anything to complement that orb, but she should be okay right now. Dildarr does have a razor shield, which should help him end the room. It's about a 214, and yeah, Dildarr is going to lose a little bit of time here. It's 218, so he gave that second back to Sigma that he gained in collect powers. Oh, that's a mistake right there. And we've seen that happen many times. Got a little bit too overzealous with that orb and just plunged it right into the swarmer there.
Yeah, rough to lose at the beginning of the room. Gets a razor replacement though, and some rockets, so I guess it's okay for now.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of vitamin R. That's going to keep him afloat because, you know, Sigma has not got anything to complement this orb here in Total Carnage. So, you know, the rockets are keeping Dildarr afloat. You know, with good firing lanes, he can make those rockets last, but he's going to need to see an orb eventually here, or the time will start to bleed. Sigma, again, has not gotten weapons down. More rockets for Dildarr. These rockets have been bailing him out up to this point here, and we'll see what that's going to translate to at the end of this room. It's still going to be a Sigma lead. We'll see by how much, though. Not by much. It's a 315. Well, I say that, and then Dildarr makes a crucial mistake at the end, just letting himself get clubbed. He's about 6 seconds back going into the bonus room, but Sigma has that big advantage with that orb. But I will tell you this, Rockets kept Dildarr afloat in that room. That could have ended real disastrously for him.
Yeah, and Dildarr understood that he wanted to just tap those rockets away too slowly. That definitely helped him last those out for that room, even though they weren't the most accurate. They were still hitting the big group, so good stuff there.
Certainly indeed. So Sigma got an invulnerability, which again, that'll protect her from the bullets, but that's about it. So not the best drop here. Grenades for Dildarr. Looks like he's just trying to grab.
That's a lot of stuff for
Uh,
Sigma.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that room, but that invulnerability again is going to protect her from the bullets, protect her from the mines, and finally the swarmer got to her. So just got a little bit too overwhelmed in that room before she could take everything out. There's an orb, not in a great spot, but Dildar's able to pick it up, and both gunners are now down. Now he's got some rockets to help him. Watch out for the. Oh man. I mean, when you don't have the orb and you do have rockets, that can actually be more beneficial than having the orb and rockets. So we'll see if he can make that work for him. He's got an invulnerability, so you know that at least is something. There's a replacement orb for Sigma. She's able to pick that up. A nuke, nice dodge there. Dildar's able to pick that up. Spreader for Sigma. Oh, picked off right at the end of the room too.
Looks like Sigma was backing off from that bullet, but couldn't decide to go down or up or what, and end up getting picked off by it.
It's definitely the game one jitters, and I'll tell you what, Dildarr is staying afloat here as he's only down by 7 seconds. That's literally one empty drop right there. This is anybody's game.
Ooh, got the little Sigma with the early death. I mean,
well, this could give Dildarr
he's
the opening to
the drop behind Mutoid Man.
Yeah, and there's the rockets. She's got a spreader. She's gotten some manuals in there. She's gotten some good manuals out of that.
Dildarr, I think, has a spreader on. Dildarr actually picked up a spreader with a little bit of vulnerability remaining. And,
oh man,
that's too bad though.
That is too bad because he could have used that and taken a nice lead on Sigma, but just it seems to always happen at the worst possible time. So
that's why it's always good to wait a little bit for the next drop when you get that fresh spreader and you're involved, then yeah, you get that big reward there.
Well, that's a spreader, but again, that's a player 2 spreader, and then immediately gets zapped. It's like no spreader for you. That spreader for Sigma, she's gonna have to go manual herself, and there is still one gunner attached on her Mutoid Man, so she's gonna have to dodge that, and finally gets vibrated. There's a good spreader. Dildarr can pick this one up. He'll get this one.
Yeah, this will be something for sure.
And goes towards him as well. This is gonna help Dildarr catch up here to the same form as Sigma. Could potentially take the lead. Sigma still has the lead though. Yeah, Sigma's. But this is very, very close. And look at Sigma's life counter. Yeah, and look at Sigma's life counter. She's at 0. If she takes a game over, that's a 5-second penalty there. Dildar's gonna have to manual those spreaders here. And right now, if he's on the final form, he's got the lead. He's going to not get the grenades though, as Sigma's now in final form with a full lobber. A full lobber now for Dildarr, but Sigma loses it.
Sigma, oh no! Spreader on the feet. That might be the difference here.
We'll see
Dildarr
about this.
Lands these grenades.
Dildar's missing a lot of shots.
He's not landing them.
He's missing too many shots here. But no, it's an empty drop.
One.
Sigma's got an empty drop.
He can't get the hits. He just can't. Mutoid
and
Man
Sigma's gonna win because of it. Wow. Too many missed shots for Dildarr on that lobber, and it's gonna cost him. Oh man. Tough break. He had it and he lost it. You hate to see it.
I was looking so good there.
Yeah, it looked like Dildarr was going to pull off that game 1 upset because Sigma did not have a good run, but instead it's an 11-second victory for Sigmafan. A surprisingly close game number 1 there. Sigma was not at her best, again, maybe just that, game 1 jitters here, and hopefully she can bounce back here. But Dildarr, stayed competitive throughout that game number 1, but that final form just could not land those shots. And sometimes having those lobbers, while it's the best weapon that you could possibly have, some runners might prefer having those rockets or grenades because they're more accurate. But we'll see if Dildarr can recover and bounce back in game number 2.
Yeah, needed those banks up the top to be a little bit better. It wasn't going for the banking the lobbers. That's you got to know how to do that so you can clutch out these wins.
Certainly, indeed. I mean, Dildarr could have PB'd on that one with better lobber firing. Recognize, it's just the little things. That's kind of the difference. That's what separates the runners who might be on, a high 6 pace to those who have like a low 6 pace. Is just recognizing the little differences there, Aquas.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have your banking.
Definitely, indeed. Unfortunately, Dildarr did not get the Razor Shield manipulation, so already I
Oh,
would imagine Sigma is going to have an early advantage on him.
wonder what happened with that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if Dildarr can get it right on the third game. But yeah, you're going to see that it's going to be a significant lead going into collect power-ups. Even though Sigma didn't have the best room one with a low 43, Dildar's going to go in there with a low 47. So, like in game number one, about a 4-second lead for Sigma going into collect power-ups. We'll see how the drops fare this time for our runners. A foot to start for Sigma, just like in game number one. Rockets though for Dildarr. Oh, that's a mistake right
Oh,
there. Got a little bit too cute, wanted to get back into the middle of the room, but you got to clean up the mess before you get control of the middle of the room again like that.
I was looking for a pun with rockets that would somehow signify the fail there, but I couldn't come up with one.
Well, no worries there. Does get a replacement set of rockets there. There's a nuke, which he's going to use to give himself a little bit of a breather. Sigma just not getting drops here in collect power-ups, and she's not going to be happy with a 133 coming out. So it's going to be close again. No orb for either player. It's a 139, so roughly 5.5 seconds is the lead. And Sigma's has to dodge a lot. Had to dodge the shrapnel, had to dodge the swirl. Dildar's got some grenades that will at least, keep him a little bit of a float to start the room, but we need to see some orbs here. We don't need to see that. Well, there's the orb for Dildarr.
No.
If that was a death manipulation to set up the orb, then I guess mission accomplished. But right as I say that, Sigma's got an orb of her own.
That death wouldn't have been. Oh god, the Dildarr loses the orb, but yeah, the death couldn't have been that bad because he could have then used the invulnerability to get the
No.
shrapnel.
But that's just been the problem. Dildar's not been able to keep that orb healthy. It's a 217 for Sigma coming out, and she's going to have a even bigger lead as Dildar's just let this room get out of control. The swarmers are just all over the place. In fact, when you have the shrapnels down before you have the swarmers down, you did not do a good job of controlling the room right there. So Dildarr is going to get some rockets here. So again, that's going to help. Sigma's done a good job keeping this orb healthy, but for the second straight game, Dildarr is getting rockets to bail him out. He needs to grab that. He did.
Goodness.
And now a Razor Shield for Sigma. That can definitely keep her safe here throughout the remainder of this room. Obviously, she would love to get some drops to complement everything else, but she can fend this off without getting anything extra here. She's in good shape.
Dildarr playing like a chicken with its head popped off here, just
Oh, believe me.
darting around.
Next year when Ferran Burgundy and I have our exhibition match, I think you're going to expect a lot of that from mine as well. I'm going to be playing like I've got my head cut off like a chicken. So I can understand what Dildarr might be feeling right now here, because my time will be coming next year, and I don't know if I'm looking forward to it or not, but we'll see how the practice goes, and then I can tell you if I'm looking forward to it or not. But in any event, Sigma going into the bonus room with a pretty substantial lead here. Has the orb, no weapons, so she's looking for a good open and drop. A dude is not going to cut it, so she can ignore it. Dildarr finally gets that room closed down, but he is way behind the 8-ball this time.
Nice from Sigma standing her ground there at the top. That was actually really good.
Very nicely done. We've seen Sigma play tank trouble really, really well, and this appears to be one of those times here. And, she got rewarded with a Razor Shield as well, so she should be in fine shape. So she doesn't need to chase anything. If she gets the drops, fine. If not, that Razor Shield's going to carry through the rest of this room here. So she's doing fine. She's looking poised to take that 2-0 lead, but watch out for that shrapnel. There was a lot of explosions there, and we've seen that Razor Shield get clobbered by the shrapnel. Ooh, a little explosion at the end, costing her a little bit, but that was still a really good tank trouble for Sigma.
Oh yeah, the Razor just keeps it so clean the whole time. It's nice.
Sigma will have a chance at the ball buster here, which will do 42% of a form damage, and I think she'll have an opportunity to do so. Right now, she's focusing on the gunner so that she doesn't have to worry about it, and now that the invulnerability is gone on the top, she's going to try to set herself up for the ball buster. I think she got it.
Yeah, got it. Yep.
All right, so that's 42% of a form down right there. And yep, she definitely got it because there's the first arm popping off on Sigma's side. Dildarr still struggling here with tank trouble, getting the old TTTT business, the typical tank trouble trash, just not getting the drops, to help expedite this from getting a lot of feet, getting a lot of invulnerabilities, just not getting the things that's helping him finish this room and get to that Mutoid Man fight. Spreader for Sigma, another player 2 spreader, so gonna have to go for the manuals here or hope for an invulnerability. Doesn't get it. Dildarr just has to finish off the Mr. Shrapnels, and he'll be in the Mutoid Man fight as well. He has a chance to come back here because, right now he's 2 forms back, but Sigma getting lobbers, so now 3 forms back. So Dildarr needs to see some spreaders here. Sigma can just ride these lobbers and hope that the next drop might be the one that finishes up this one. And look at this, a conveniently placed spreader for Dildarr, so he's going to gain some ground. It just might be too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, gonna need those spreaders to keep on flowing here.
And needs to get another spreader. A lobber for Sigma could put her to final form. There it is. Sigma decided to ignore the spreader, knowing that the final form was close there. Dildarr has the lobbers, has some more lobbers. Nice grab right there. Sigma's got some spreaders. That's going to do the job. Sigma going to take a 2-0 lead. Definitely had an improvement there. Much better arena gameplay and a solid Mutoid Man fight. That's going to put her up 2-0.
Oh yeah, pretty good from Sigma.
I'll tell you what, Dildarr's had a pretty solid Mutoid Man up until that empty drop right there. He was getting good drops. He was keeping the damage going there, but the game's going to slow him down. Taking the intentional, he's hoping for a spreader here. Oh, if that would have been a spreader, that would have been beautiful right there. But no dice, it's rockets. Dildarr just trying to finish this up here and, gotta clean up that arena gameplay. He definitely knows what he's doing in these Mutoid Man fights. It's just he's gonna have to clean up that arena gameplay here. Getting close to that final form here. He's now in the final form right now. Let's see if he can at least get better shots on the lobbers here, because that's what doomed him in game number 1. Now he's got lobbers, so he's gonna be tested again here. Shots seem to be better this time around. We'll see if he's able to get the bank shots here, who he does. Very nice bank shots there on Dildarr's part, and he's going to need one more weapon, though, to finish this fight. These lobbers should do it if he has accurate firing. Very good. That was a really good Mutoid Man fight, considering all things, but there's the damage, too much damage done to him in the arena.
Yeah.
It'll be a 752 flat, but you tell you, with that Mutoid Man fight, he definitely had a much better Mutoid Man. That Mutoid Man fight would have won him game number 1.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
In all likelihood. I mean, Sigma had a pretty good Mutoid Man fight of her own. I think it was about a 2-minute fight. So, and I unfortunately didn't keep track of what Dildarr's time was going into the Mutoid Man fight, but that was definitely a better Mutoid Man fight from Dildarr in game number 2 than it was in game number 1. But again, the damage was just too much for him to overcome. You gotta be much closer than that going into the Mutoid Man fight, because you don't want to be relying on RNG to bail you out. You're asking for trouble if you're trying to have that happen.
Yeah, he just kind of ran out of luck on that run and then just had to fight it out, and thus the giant time losses.
And once again, he does not get the Razor Shield manipulation to start the game here. So I don't know if that's something that he's just not practiced or if he's just off on the timing a little bit. But in any event, Sigma, again, should have the whole shot coming out of this room here. Doing a decent job, not getting trolled by a smart mom. And yeah, it's going to be another whole shot for Sigma, about 41-ish, yeah, mid 41 there for Sigma. Dildarr is going to have a mid 45, so it's been consistent. A 4-second lead out of Arena 1, Aquas.
Yeah, looking good there for Sigma. Yeah, got grenades for Sigma, grenades for Dildarr.
Yeah, Dildarr is fishing for weapons here because he did pick it up whereas Sigma decided to ignore that drop, and Dildarr's again going to pick up the grenades. He's fishing for better weapons. Sigma's getting some decent items. She's got a Razor Shield, and now she's got an orb to go with that spreader that she had as well. So great drops there from Sigma.
And Dildarr gets his own orb as well, so see if they can keep them this time.
Yeah, that's going to be the key here for Dildarr, is not carelessly giving up the orb there. We've seen him do that a few times already. It's a 126 going into Eat My Shrapnel there for Sigma. Dildarr has a 138, so does have the orb, but this could get dicey. You got to be patient here. Clean up the mess and then make your moves. If you make the move before cleaning up the mess, you're going to be in trouble. Dildarr did let the shrapnels get a little bit out of control, but at the moment has kept the orb nice and healthy. Sigma, though, has some rockets to finish up this room. Dildar's got some rockets, but just needs to be patient. Decides to let them go. I don't think it's the worst play in the world if you're trying to keep that orb healthy. It's a 208 for Sigma going into Total Carnage. And yeah, Dildarr definitely played this room much better than he did in the other game, so I don't think he's going to lose too much time. He's going to keep himself afloat. Now, the thing we're going to watch out for is, what is he going to do at the start of Total Carnage? Can he make the proper adjustment there? There, he did it right there. He made the proper adjustment. Oh, but he almost let it get away. Does get rewarded with a Razor Shield, but Sigma has it all. Razor Shield, rockets just expired, but once again, Sigmafan in full control here in Total Carnage.
That was her second rocket, I believe, there as well.
Wow.
So
everything coming up Sigma right now.
Dildarr has rockets in the corner, but probably a little too close for comfort. For him to grab.
Yeah, it's in a tight spot, and the Razor Shield does give you hindrance from where you can and cannot grab weapons, and that might have been too close to the door. It would have been a very snug fit, so I can understand why Dildarr decided not to grab the rockets, but he will be able to grab these rockets easily. About 305 for Sigma going into the bonus room. Oh, it's getting... he almost got away with their Aguas, but just got picked off at the end. Does get a replacement orb, but it's in a tight spot. Great grab right there for Dildarr. That should, I was gonna say it's gonna keep him afloat, but he got a little bit too reckless. It's the same thing that's kind of plagued him throughout this match. He's been a little bit too reckless with that orb. He needs to be a little bit more patient with his movement.
Yeah.
So right now, Sigma having some problems here, doing a good job dancing around the bullets, dancing around the swarmers here, because she's not gotten any drops to help her out. Both gunners are now down, so she can try to focus in the middle of the room, but those purple swarmers, they have gotten way too close to that orb. But despite all of that, Sigma's done a solid job. Finally gonna get rewarded with some rockets, maybe, but thought the risk was a little bit too much. Wants to keep that orb, wants to have the opportunity to have the ball buster, and gets a spreader on the feet, and then gets rockets. That's going to finish up the room right there. Nicely done there from Sigma.
Yeah, really good. Definitely held her ground in the center, despite even the rocket drop. It was probably a smart call, because it had some great momentum there fighting from the center.
Oh, she did absolutely indeed. Made some good, clever plays right there. I don't think a lot of players would have done that. I think a lot of players would have went after those rockets there, but Sigma showed real good patience in that room.
Dildarr had the Razor, but Tank sniped him out.
You hate to see that. Sigma's going to try to get a manual spreader. Didn't get too many shots, but did get some lobber damage. Going to go ahead and grab the lobbers, or the grenades, I beg your pardon. Looking for a spreader here. Gets rockets instead. Dildarr should pick up that invulnerability, which he does. More rockets now for Sigma. But yeah, Tank Trouble living up to its name as he gets clubbed down again by another green swarmer. There's an orb. You got to clear the garbage before you grab that orb, which he does indeed. So maybe he'll have a chance at that ball buster. He's got one more Mr. Shrapnel to take out. Very good close to that room, but he's going to need some help. We'll see if he can get it here, as Sigma is now exposed the rib cage and has back-to-back grenades. Dildarr gonna need to see some spreaders here.
Sigma has been wailing on that neck weak point of Mutoid Man a lot here, getting double damage.
Dildarr tried to do manual, but that's awful dangerous when you have those gunners still attached there. He needed to take the death, then grab the spreader if you wanted to really make use to it. And Sigma's now on the final form here, and they both have key drops. The writing seems to be on the wall here for Dildarr, as Sigma's got the lobbers. Dildarr having some rockets. More lobbers for Sigma. Oh, that trolling movement that you see a lot from Mutoid Man's final form, but it's inconsequential. GG's to Sigmafan. She will be moving on to the next round of the winner's bracket.
Yeah, I'd say Sigma played her game pretty good there, and got 619 as a show for that. So well done there, and Sigma is going to move on
Yeah,
in this
absolutely.
match.
I definitely think that it was just game one jitters that put her in a very uncomfortable spot there in that game number one when Dildarr had the opportunity to take that early 1-0 lead in this match. But after that game number one, she settled in, tightened up her arena gameplay, and had a couple of solid times there. That's going to win you a lot of games there, Aqua. So great performance tonight from Sigma. And I know Dildarr is not as experienced at the game as Sigmafan is, but I know he can show some improvement to that 648 PB that he currently has.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just get a few things to line up and play a decent game. Not losing that orb too often, and easy 630.
Oh, absolutely, indeed. I mean, it's easier said than done. I mean, a lot of these runners who have been playing Smash TV for years, make this game look real easy. They don't drop their orbs very often. But believe me, it's a lot tougher than it looks. I mean, we're in the commentators booth. We see the runners, what they do, what they don't do, the immaculate gameplay, mistakes that are made. All that looks easy when we're watching it here in the commentators booth. But when you actually play it for real, it's not that easy.
Oh yeah, super easy to get overwhelmed.
So final form now for Dildarr. He's just trying to wrap up this run here. Again, Sigmafan is going to be moving on to take on Mr. Dino in the next round of the winner's bracket. Dildarr not eliminated from the tournament. Dildarr will go into the second chance bracket and will take on Jacquemus Wedge in the first round of the second chance bracket.
Sigma's going against Jacquemus. Is that what you said?
No, Dildar's going up against Jacquemus.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Because he who did he lose to again?
Was it Coolio? Yeah, it was Coolio. 3 games to 1. Yeah, that was our first upset of the entire tournament right there. Coolio taking down the longtime veteran Jacquemus. That was Coolio's first win in a match. Did lose to Tetsuo, the number 4 seed, 3 games to 0. So Coolio is waiting the loser of let's see which one that is. Oh, I beg your pardon. Dildarr is facing Coolio. I beg your pardon. I read the numbers wrong. 14 is Mr. Dino and Sigmafan. Whoever loses that match takes on Jacquemus. I beg your pardon. Okay. I can read these, folks. I could read these maps very well. I can't read them very well. But that would be is reading the them, end.
But Challenge has so many ads, it kind of bogs down my computer.
I hear you there. Well, in any event, GG's to Sigmafan. She moves on to take on Mr. Dino in the next round. We will see Dildarr again taking on Coolio in the second chance brackets. That is going to wrap up our coverage for tonight. Aquas, do you have any final thoughts before we say goodnight here?
Well, we do have more matches coming tomorrow. In fact, I'm playing against Joey Mittens tomorrow night, so come by for that. I'm not sure if there's any other matches.
Yes, there is. Brysolf is taking on Firebroth in their second round winners matchup. Winner plays Prince Leaf. So if Brysolf ends up winning that match against Firebroth, we're going to have a rematch of that first Immaculate Spreader, Brysolf and Prince Liv. That'll be a very exciting match if that ends up happening. Obviously, Firebroth would like to not only crash the party, but send the 3-time champion down into that second chance bracket.
Yeah, so definitely come by tomorrow night. And also, it seems that we do have some new footage from various games and 90s stuff on the stream overlay. I do believe I've noticed some new things. So
I have too.
Remember to pay attention to that because that's fun.
Oh, absolutely. I love watching the retro stuff coming onto that screen. Brings me back to my childhood. So always a treat to see. But before we say goodnight, I want to please make sure you give all 4 of our runners a follow tonight. Great races between Real Zero and Prince Leaf, and then also Sigmafan and Dildarr. Great job from all 4 of our runners tonight. And again, as always, special thanks to Mr. Dino for bringing the restream here on GG Speedruns. And of course, to my commentator partner and of course, fellow competitor in the tournament, Aquas. As always, great doing commentary with you tonight, and I wish you the best of luck in your upcoming match against Joey Mittens.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. So for everybody here on GG Speedruns, I'm LOZ Cards Fan 23. Have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you again tomorrow night for more exciting coverage of the 9th annual Super Smash TV tournament right here on GG Speedruns. Good night, everyone.
Good night.